Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're a law and economics graduate, then this video is specifically for you. I'm Pavan Sriram, former Erasmus Mundus Scholar and former Erasmus Mundus Association President. In this video, I'll be talking with Sapraya Sood on her journey of winning a successful Erasmus Mundus Scholarship to pursue Masters in Europe in Law and Economics. In this video, we'll be discussing 10 key questions and most importantly, all the tips on having a successful application towards Erasmus Mundus Masters in the field of law and economics. What's your field and what are the different Erasmus Mundus courses you applied for and how many did you get selected?
So I'm a lawyer and I'd been practicing for 3 years. So I was looking for some of the more specialized courses, but I was also very open to exploring more interdisciplinary courses, which is why I applied to the European Masters in Law and Economics course. And I also applied to this other course, which is the Mundus Masters in Public Policy. As it happened, the Mundus Masters in Public Policy had not got the European funding for this batch of students, for the 2020-22 batch of students. So I wasn't very keen on doing that because I was sure that if I wanted to do a Mundus Erasmus course, I wanted to do it with a scholarship. And that's about it, but I think this is one of the most prominent law courses in the Erasmus Mundus.
What was the reason you chose Europe for a law degree?
I think that I've studied in Europe before. I did a DART exchange program in 2016. And I think I was very clear that if you're doing an English language course in Europe, the standards are pretty much the same as anywhere else, and Europe does have a very, very strong hold in academics, and so they have really good professors. So I'd also spoken to a few students who done this program before in the past few years, and almost everyone I spoke to had such wonderful things to say about it. So I love the concept and the format of studying in different countries because I think the international experience is really something. It's an experience that stays with you all your life. And I know in terms of from a personal growth perspective as well as from a professional growth perspective, I think it's a good place to be in. And I was interested in more academic and policy options, and at least for those options I think that Europe has so much to offer. So and I think simply from the cost perspective also, I think education in Europe is just so much more affordable. So keeping all of those basket of factors in mind, I think Europe made so much sense.
And how did you know about Erasmus Mundus scholarships in first place?
To be very honest, I think I've always kept an eye out for courses and colleges and scholarships right since I was in law school. So I must admit that I've been more a little too proactive on that end. So I was very confused when I was applying also, about where to apply and where to go. But I think I'd spoken to a lot of people about the program since so many years. I don't even know when I got to know about it because I've just known about it for a while. At least the Law and Economics program. To be honest, I didn't know about many other programs that I found out about after I applied, which actually sometimes I wish I'd looked at because they just look so interesting. There's some global policy and there's environment policy, and I'm just I didn't look at these programs in depth, and they all seemed so interesting. So I knew about the Law and Economics program and the Public Policy program, but there are just so many programs, and I didn't know about all of them despite so much research. So I feel that there's really so much Europe has to offer, and I wish people really know about it in time to make the right program choice.
So what are the main components which leads to your scholarship? In terms of CV, motivation letter, what are the key ingredients which will ensure you get a scholarship, and what are the tips related to these aspects?
So at least for the EMJMD program, there is a CV that you have to upload in a different format, which is the European format. Which is fairly simple because they have a link where the format is just laid out. You just need to put in your details and it creates that format for you. We also have an SOP, which is about 500 words, so it's just one page, but it's, I think, more challenging to write a shorter SOP than a longer one. From I think last year or maybe 2 years ago, they started the concept of also submitting an essay. I think it was actually from my year only. So we had to write an additional essay, which was like I'm sure they'll change the topic every year, but for us it was like analyzing a sustainable development goal from a law and economics perspective. So that was an additional component of the application format. Apart from that, I think they just need your transcripts and the regular like English language proof. But I mean, what wasn't said on the website and what also happened was that after they shortlisted the students for the scholarship, they came out with an additional requirement of writing another essay for the scholarship. So they gave us about a week to do that, and it was a more like focused. They just give you one topic and you had to analyze it from a law and economics perspective. So that was an additional essay that people had to write for the scholarship, apart from the one that we'd written for the application. So I think these are the components for the application. The second essay is obviously once you get shortlisted, but the others are all mandatory. Yeah.
And what are the tips, according to you, you would suggest for the prospective students who are looking for law and economics related Erasmus Mundus?
I think that, I mean, to be honest, like I feel like it's honestly not any different from any other university, like in terms of application process, and there's really no interview or anything, at least not this year. I don't know, I'm not sure if it happened in the past, but so I think it's really like a process of working on yourself. Like it's not something that happens overnight also, but at the same time I think it's really important to present yourself in a very, very sharp manner, like with every document that you work on. I think it really matters how you like put down every sentence on it. Like I think somebody's trying to gauge your entire personality through 500 words that you've written. So I think it really matters how you frame your sentences, how long and short your sentences are. So I would like my basic like suggestion is to really think about why you want to do the program, and what is it that you've done that sort of leads you to that, so, and tie it all together. So you really need to connect your like past, present and future in a very sort of a blended manner, and talk about yourself and tell a story, like you have to tell a story and also connect like everything you've done with everything you want to do. So I think the MD program really prefers people who have some bit of like a background in law and economics. So like we do have some non-lawyers as well on the program who have only done economics before, but most of them are lawyers who have some exposure to economics. Either you've taken some courses in economics before, or you've done like maybe practice in competition law, which has elements of economics, or like you've done like more business related work, which you can link to like the application of economics. So I think you need to like really dig into your past and find out like what is it that made you realize that I want to do law and economics. Like you can't just randomly be like, hey, this is the only legal course offered by Erasmus Mundus, so I want to do it. Like no. So you really need to like present a picture of yourself in a manner that they are convinced that they can give you a spot on the program, and like it'll count for something.
One thing I forgot to ask before is how important is CGPA or grades for getting an Erasmus Mundus scholarship?
I'm not sure. I think they have like weightage on the website, which takes into account your academic profile. I'm not sure how much that means. It only how much emphasis they put only on your grades for that. But I would think that they do care a little bit, at least. I think like out of a 4, I mean, I'm just being honest, like on a 4.0 scale, I had about a 3.41, which wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was good. It wasn't very good. It was good. But like, I think if you have good grades, like really good grades, I think that always stands out. So I think
for you when it came to preparing your CV and your COP, etc. Like, what was the timeline mainly?
Uh, I really feel that I'm not the right person to answer this, only for the simple reason that I think I took very little time on my application. I feel like I should have spent a lot more time on it, but I kind of procrastinated because I had done a lot of applications in December, and this application was due in January, and like I sort of decided Christmas break and New Year's break was happening to me. But but yes, like I think it's not something to be scared of. I really don't think that it requires if you're applying to many colleges, I don't think you have to work on anything except the one essay that you write. If your motivations for doing the MD program are the same as any other program, or your SOP would need very slight alterations, it's just the essay, the 500-word essay that you need to work on, which is really like if you really spend time on it, maybe like 2-3 days would be enough, and then you can send it out for reviewing and stuff like that. But yes, getting through the changing CV format to the Europe format, some people find that a bit like, I don't know, it's a bit to figure out, like how to write it down and stuff. And sometimes I think we just keep procrastinating as humans, that, we're just like, I don't understand this, I'll do it later. And I think that's what took me time in the application process, because every time I open that link to change my CV format, it just looked so complicated. But then when I actually sat down to do it, I realized it was so simple because I just had to put in my details. So like sometimes I think these things that are new because of the European format become like obstructions, but they're really not obstructions. It's fairly simple. So if you spent like 2 weeks, like focused time on the application, I think it's good. But obviously you need to work on your you need to talk to your recommenders, like referees, like much before, and I think way before, because I believe that the LOR format for MD is slightly different, and they need to like talk about your law and economics background in their reference letter. So you should tell your referees beforehand about that. And those are conversations I think you need to have in time, because you have what you can do in your control, but not like what someone else has to do. So you want to make sure that that is sorted. So yeah.
So are you very happy with the scholarship? What does the scholarship contain with regards to EMLI?
Honestly, I feel like I'm very grateful to the European Commission for the scholarship. It's a lot of money. It pretty much covers everything if you're living like a student. If you're not, well, I'm sure you can go over the means provided, but like I think it's more than sufficient. Like they cover your application fees. So like my scholarship amount is like 25,000 euros, and my college fees was about 9,500 euros, which gets deducted from the entire amount. Then we get like about 4,000 euros of mobility costs, which covers your air tickets and your mobility expenses, and just settling in expenses, because you're moving so frequently. And honestly, I've only been here about 2 weeks, but I can see that it is expensive to move around like so frequently, because there's so many things that you're going to be buying just because it's the first time you're living there, and so many things that you can't carry from one place to another. So like those are the installation costs that they also cover in those 4,000 euros. And then they give you like 1,000 euros of living expenses for the length of the program, which is 12 months for Emily. But I think that 1,000 euros, and I think the rent differs from place to place. Like in Hamburg would be around 400 to 450 euros. But in my next term, which is Rotterdam, would be slightly more expensive. But even then you have about 500 euros to yourself, which is really more than enough. But obviously if you want to travel a lot, and if you want to like be eating out every day, or like going to bars and pubs, okay, everybody can have like a little bit of personal expenditure for all of that. But I think that it's very, very comfortable, honestly, and I'm very grateful for the scholarship. Yeah.
And Emily's 1-year course, right? It's a 12 months
Yeah, it's a
program.
1 year course. Yeah, I think it's one of the few programs, Erasmus Mundus programs that are 1 year. I think most of them are 2 years.
And also, I think your travel and health insurance are covered within the scholarship.
Oh yes, our health insurance is taken care of. So like they just provide our health insurance. Travel, I think, like I said, they give us the mobility expenses. So we just like it sort of like offsets the cost of travel.
Okay. How is it in terms of the education? Means, of course, you had a DAD exchange before, but is it very different compared to education experiences you had in India versus now in Europe? And especially studying with so many international classmates, that should be really interesting in itself.
Yes, for sure. I think it's such an international experience. Honestly, I can't emphasize that enough because, I mean, in my batch in Hamburg comprises right now, maybe because of COVID, like the numbers are slightly lesser than any other year, but it's just 22 students. And we have, in those 22 students, I think I've only met like 2 countries where there's a repeat of like 2 students from one country, but everybody is from a different place and different part of the world. And it is so international. So it's so like everybody's so open-minded and, like so willing to know about your culture and, like, so it's really like, it's really an experience to be with, like sitting and eating with people from like 10 nationalities and like observe. Every conversation becomes about culture because like everything from eating your breakfast and what time you eat and how you eat it and how you say cheers when you're drinking beer. Like we literally had a conversation where we went around the circle and been like, how do you say cheers in Italian and Dutch and like Portuguese, and like I was just like, oh my god, like every conversation becomes about culture. It's really interesting. Apart from, as far as academics is concerned, I think the teachers in Emily are really great. Like they're very nice. We're the unfortunate batch that has started off online classes. So far, we're trying our hybrid teaching, and even about that, they're trying so hard to make that happen. And it's so nice to see that because I know that the numbers in Germany are really going up, and everybody's concerned, but they also don't want us to like miss out on that experience. So they're trying really hard. Everything since the beginning, like from when we got enrolled in the course, like was so organized. Like we got regular emails from college updating us about the situation, about COVID, about like how our course is going to look like, and even the allocation of cities was very, very organized. My teachers are all really good in English, and like they're very good at what they do, and they, you can see that they have so much experience behind them because the classes are so interactive, and you'd never get bored. Like there's even online, like it's just so interactive. Like I think even the students are enthusiastic, so everybody's like unmuting themselves and making it such a interesting lecture. And I think that really adds up, means something in such times when like you could easily just switch off your video and your audio and just like nobody will know of your existence, but like no, everybody's making an active effort to participate, and like and the teachers are making sure that happens. So I think that's something to be said about that. And yeah, I think I mean, it's too soon for me to comment on the coursework because I think it's only been 2 weeks into the program, but we've already had an assignment submission, so you can understand that it's at a very, very fast pace because we only have 3 months in a city, which means that right from when you start till when you end, you have to do like you have your like introduction classes where everybody's just introducing themselves, but you also in a week have an assignment due, and you're like, how did this just happen all in a week? But like it's really that fast, and like you're also at a place where you're only for 3 months, so everybody's in that mode where they feel like you want to make the most of it. So all your free time is spent planning what to do with the free time so or like doing things. So it's just really fast. I think the program feels like it's just going by so soon already.
I think it definitely helps one grow not only professionally but also personally to a large extent in many ways, which one could not even imagine. So
no, I can, yeah.
And the final question for you would be like, what are the essentials one should bring from their home countries? And I think that's always a big question, and again it varies from person to person, but a minimal stuff which one should carry to help them to phase out homesickness and kind of missing that part of it.
I think it really depends, like, I mean, for most people, I would just say bring an open mind, like, then you don't need anything from India. But, like, I got like a whole bag full of spices and masalas, and I'm feeling so bad because I could only bring in one check-in bag and it took up so much weight. And I'm just like, I didn't need any of it, and I could have brought so many other things, But I know that when I came from exchange program, some of my batchmates who came with me like felt so homesick because of the food. And I know that for some people, like, home food is the real thing, and food is something they're not flexible about, which is okay. Like, I mean, if food is home for you, then I think go and get like as much stuff, as many spices and all you can get. Though I must say that everything is available. I mean, I got Maggi masala because I thought that's the only thing I'm going to feel homesick about, but there was more variety of Maggi masalas in Germany than in India. And there was like literally a masala oil that I found, like it just was like Maggi masala flavored oil. And I was like, I never saw this in India. And I was like, on my last day, I had so many things to do. I was searching for Maggi masala there. So yeah, there's everything available here. But like, I mean, I get that when you're leaving, and also Indian parents really push you to take everything because they think nothing is available there. But if you're like if you do feel homesick, I think yes, get your traditional spices and like whatever the home taste that you crave. So that there's not even like a slight difference in your garam masala. It's just the same masala. So I mean, get it. But I am from the school of thought where I feel like everything is available here, and I think that once you're a student, you'll realize and sooner or later that you cannot make Indian food every day, honestly. And then you also feel like when you go to the supermarket, there's just so many things here that are so that equip you to do efficient cooking, and then you realize there's so many new things that you can make that are just so much easier to make with the things that are available here. So I think you just adapt, and I think if you come with that mindset, it's so much easier to settle down, and you actually feel less homesick because you blend in here, as opposed to like trying to hold on to what you know and then not feeling like you're in familiar surroundings. So I would say bring an open mind, but to anyone who is used to anything, like, I mean, if home is food, then just get your spices. But apart from food, I really can't think of anything you need. Like, obviously check up the weather of the country you're in and make sure you've talked to a few people, at least in your first term city, to like figure out what you need, because it's really cold in Hamburg, and honestly, as much as I thought I was prepared, I wasn't. And it's really I mean, you need to wear like multiple layers of clothes and stuff. So, and you need to also ration your like luggage weight according to what you need to carry, like on priority. So like if it's a big coat over like a few, like over a rice packet, I don't know why you would get rice, but yes, like please carry that coat, because I think you don't want to fall sick in a new country right after you land, and I think that makes you more homesick than anything else. So I think just like, apart from that, as long as you have your laptop and laptop charger and phone charger, and obviously the converter plugs, I think you're good to go. So that's about it, yeah.
So you heard right. It's not the CGPA which is the most important ingredient. Of course, it is important, but the whole profile is something which can really make or break your successful application. So don't give up on your dream and go for it. And I wish you very best. Do check out my other videos on Erasmus Mundus series. Most importantly, like, subscribe and share. You never know whose life you might change. And all the very best. And if you have any questions, do reach out to me. Take care.